what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by fellow lifetime Longhorn, young prodigy C.J. Vogel, and our own coach, former high school football coach at Bernie, Capel, Brownwood, Belton, Rotan, and also played college football at Abilene Christian, coach there as well, and was on the staff at the University of Texas for multiple head football coaches. And now you can catch his work at ShipleyRanches.com. It's our own coach, Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Enjoying some milder July temperatures and still praying for our friends down at the hill country, man. They can't catch a break. They're still getting water and rain. It's almost like it's a hurricane just slowly circling, and drenching it.
Yeah, I saw that report too, Coach. Yeah, amen to that, Coach. I appreciate you bringing that up as well. So, yeah, thoughts and prayers still going to those folks who dealing with a lot of issues there in Central Texas. There's still rain. Hell, man, it rained earlier this morning. Like it just, I think it might be the wettest damn July we've ever had. And obviously that's unfortunate because some folks have to deal with the extreme conditions of that. So, thoughts and prayers still going out to those folks here in Central Texas. Thank you, Coach, for bringing that up. It is SEC Media Days, starting up officially today. So we'll get into some SEC Media Days coverage. Got our team down there in Atlanta. On CJ Vogel's down there. You can see him already. He's got the background. He's there on the ground, boots on the ground there at SEC Media Days. Talk about some of the big stories coming out from that. We'll also talk recruiting, of course, because recruiting never stops here on Texas Football. So we'll dive into some recruiting news, notes, and nuggets a little bit later on. And, of course, all of your questions, comments, whatever you guys want to talk about. It is the Winning Drive, but you drive it any direction you want to. Super chats, jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time, but throw out your questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. All right, let's kind of dive into, I don't know if it's the biggest topic coming out of SEC Media Days so far, but this report that Nick Sabin could potentially come out of retirement if the opportunity was right, and that there's somebody very close to Nick Sabin. Now, by the way, Greg McElroy is the one that reported this. So just throw it out there. Greg McElroy. He reported that, and this was on McElroy and Kublik in the morning. He said that Nick Sabin will return to coaching at some point. He said that, Coach. He said,
I wonder if he likes Southern California. That would not be good.
No, that would not.
For them, it would not be good for the rest of them.
Hey, honestly, Coach, that was the next question, and I think you just hit the nail on the head. I was like, well, if this report is indeed true, who would Nick Saban come out? If he coming out of retirement, what college program or what football team would Nick Saban coach? That's a damn good one, Coach. USC.
He's not going to take just a mediocre. He's going to take a blue blood. And that's probably the biggest blue blood job that is being talked about, as far as a coach being on thin ice.
Yeah, that's the one with the highest ceiling because Oklahoma, their coach is on the hot seat, but people are thinking that Oklahoma has they have limitations in this new era of college sports. CJ, what are your thoughts? You were there at SEC Media Days. I saw this story. This is like one of the first stories that came out even before Media Days officially started. Are people talking about this? Is because they say actually this is realistic. Greg McElroy said it was, quote, very much a person who is very much in the know, who would know, says that Nick Saban is not done coaching. Is that something people are talking about at SEC Media Days?
That often. Not yet. Jeff Howe and John Burrows and I are all sitting on the floor right behind me. You see below me. We've been around. We've been talking, kind of rubbing elbows with other media personnel. It hasn't been that much of a focal point thus far. Now, does that change as Media Days progresses and we start getting into, maybe this is actually more of a possibility than we thought? But, Rod, the first part of that question is if he comes back, it's got to be the right fit. Well, what is the right fit? Because it's not Alabama. I don't know what could be the right fit for the standard that we've seen Nick Saban coach to. I'm sure he's not going anywhere that isn't a rebuild. And looked at, I don't know how many years he has to build or get a team to where he's been his entire career. And that kind of puts a big stall in the process of getting him back to where he wants to be in my eyes.
Yeah, that's a good one. I see some good ones here in the chat, though. I mean, Coach brought up, honestly, might be the best possible. But for Texas fans, probably the worst. Anybody else, probably the worst. But one of the best case scenarios for him, USC, who seems to be spending a lot of money. They got a lot of money. It's they are kind of the splashy, if you will, kind of sexy program of the West Coast. That wouldn't be like Nick Saban, but I mean, they need a ball coach. And I will say somebody also said Florida here. That's another one. Florida in the SEC already, and we know they also Billy Napier might be on the hot seat as well there. Somebody brought up LSU. I guess LSU where you started this whole damn thing, Coach.
Although I mean, really, would he go back to the SEC? He's already been at LSU, been at Alabama. I mean, maybe Florida State, if they backslide more, might be a possibility because it's a southeast guy. He's got some land. But I don't know, man. Nick Saban and Hollywood kind of go hand in hand, don't they? Although I don't know that he would like that, but it doesn't surprise me. A guy like him, that's a little bit like Mac Brown. That's all he knows. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not. That's just what he does. And I don't see him going back to pro football. I thought the NIL would be the end of him, but maybe since they're starting to regulate it a little bit better now, he goes, okay, well, yeah, maybe I can deal with that now. There's going to be some rules and some regulations. It's not going to be, just a crazy scenario out of control like it was when he retired.
I see it as very unlikely. I mean, look, I think it'd be great for the sport. One final hoorah somewhere, right? In LSU with Florida, somewhere big where he doesn't necessarily need that ramp up period because if you went to an Oklahoma, let's be frank, right? That there would need to be a ramp up period. And he's 73 years old. You're telling me if he's not competing within the first 2 years, there's more in the tank for him? Maybe. Coach, you mentioned it. He loves football. Football is his whole life. I don't think he knows how to live without football. And I think there's also a part of him on the game day sets every weekend where he's sitting around saying, it's fun being on the outside watching the buses drive through the crowds, but damn it, I'd rather be in the bus, And so I think that's part of it. I just couldn't envision him going somewhere that – and now here's the flip side. How many ADs would say, to hell with the coach I have currently, give me 3 good years of Nick Saban, and I'll roll those dice to see maybe I end up in a place better than where I am today. That's the other side of it that I think is really interesting.
Well, I think there's one place that's not going to happen.
Where's the logo?
Where is it? Yeah.
Coach, I'll say this, though, because I saw some folks talking about it in the chat. I will try to find them and give them credit for it. I think it was Michelle brought it up, too. And I think somebody else brought it up before Michelle. The takeover for Sark after Texas gets back-to-back natties and goes to the NFL. Because I've said before, I think Sark still he has this infatuation with the league. He does. He does.
But that's not a rebuild. That's not a rebuild. Saban's not going to go anywhere and where somebody else gets the credit.
Really? Okay.
It's not a rebuild. And plus he might just be testing the waters. Hey, put this out there. Let's just see, who calls. And he can always deny it. He can always say, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but put it out there and just see what happens.
There's a lot of folks that believe, just to continue the Saban discussion, because I agree with you, Coach, there are a lot of blue bloods that may be open in the next 2 years or so. And that, like CJ said, would love to have a Nick Saban. Florida, you brought up USC, Oklahoma potentially. Somebody brought up Michigan in the chat too. Michigan is another great blue blood you could potentially look at. But there's a belief, and I remember Deion Sanders is the one that hinted at this, that Nick Saban left because college football is a fustercluck. Like it's just a mess right now, right? House settlement, NIL, transfer portal, they can't really figure it out. And even with the house settlement, there's a belief that there will be lawsuits and litigation, and this thing still won't be settled for another 4 or 5 years. So the working conspiracy theories is that Nick Saban does come back and he wants to avenge the level where he potentially embarrassed himself, the NFL level. It ain't coming. At college, he's conquered college. Why the hell would you stay in college when you're the GOAT at the college level, coach? Why would you even endanger that? Why would you even want to put that at risk? I'm the GOAT. Nobody will ever surpass me as the greatest college football head coach. What I need to do is I need to rectify what happened in the NFL.
Yeah.
I need to rectify that.
And there's one place to do that. One place where he could solidify himself all time. That's in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas Cowboys.
That's the only. I mean, you're talking about resurrecting and bringing the boys back.
Yeah,
I would get excited about that. We can. That's a train we can all hop on.
You don't even have to win the Super Bowl if you go to Dallas. Just go to an NFC Championship game, and there's no question about anything ever.
Although Nick Sabin and Jerry Jones, I don't know. I mean, there's going to have to be a lot of ego swallows there.
Coach, you're right. Honestly, that conspiracy theory is so money. I mean, it's just it makes me giddy thinking about it. But you just hit the nail on the head at the end. That's why it'll never happen, because essentially Nick Saban would be almost another. I mean, he needs to have all the power, right? Jimmy Johnson was that kind of guy. Like, I need to call the shots. Bill Parcells same way, right? Bill Parcells, if I'm cooking the meal, I got to buy the groceries as well. That's Nick Saban. He's one of those guys. I'm cooking the meal, I'm buying the groceries. And it's been proven over time that, at least from what we know about Jerry Jones, he don't like them kind of guys. He cannot subdue his ego to let that kind of guy get all the credit for the success of the Cowboys. So Jerry Jones knows how to win championships. He knows that's the tragedy of those people. He knows, because he did it with Jimmy Johnson, and he got close with Bill Parcells. The problem is he don't want to hire them kind of guys who could win a championship, because they'll get all the credit.
Well, now I want to say this. There comes a point in time. I mean, Jerry Jones didn't make all his money, hopefully, and not learn from his mistakes. Could he be at the point where it's like, you know what? Obviously, the way I'm doing it ain't working, and so we got to bring the boys back. And there ain't but one person that can do that in his mind. Maybe. I'm just saying, hypothetically, that's what he could be saying. You know what? I'm gonna stand back, and I'm gonna let somebody bring this program back, and I'll still be a part of it.
And all of his Super Bowls have come from coaches who came from college to the NFL. And so it'd be another kind of thing. I'm with you, Coach. That would be a hell of a story if Nick Saban, his last hurrah, was hitching his wagon to Jerry Jones, and both of them saying, and I'll say this about Nick Saban. Nick Saban learns from mistakes. Nick Saban, that's the best thing about Nick Saban. He even talked about how the Drew Brees thing is kind of what went wrong for him. Like they said they wanted Drew Brees and it didn't work out, and then they went with someone else. And apparently, like he said, the arc of his career would have went differently if he'd have gotten Drew Brees there in Miami. And he made some mistakes in Miami. He's open about those mistakes. And he said those mistakes actually helped him learn how to be a better coach when he got to college, when he got back to college, I should say, and then was able to, obviously become the GOAT. So I don't know, Coach. You just might have talked me into it, man. I mean, I like that. That's it.
I might buy season tickets if that happens.
Maybe have to buy back in.
You got to buy back in.
More and more people are not renewing their season tickets because they're sick of it. Yeah,
that's a good point. Splendid Daddy here says, what would be the funniest landing spot? Ole Miss for Nick Saban. Ole Miss would be funny. That means somehow they got rid of Lane Kiffin for Nick Saban. Who wouldn't, I guess. I think LSU would be pretty, I don't know, ironic, I guess. Kind of start back at LSU. Because LSU with Brian Kelly. Now, listen, every coach, the last, 3 coaches at LSU have won a national title. Saban, Les Miles, and
years.
Right? Right. Like CJ, right?
That's been talked about today with Brian Kelly leading the way in SEC, speaking down here today. That's been brought up a couple times, saying, hey, you're kind of at the end of the clock, Rod. What's kind of the saying? You've brought it up several times, whether you have that 5-year window in the NFL and your GM kind of either understands that they have the guy that can take them to the Super Bowl in the NFL, or they know that they have to reset the clock and completely rebuild. LSU might be at that point right now because, look, Les Miles won, Ed O won, Nick Saban won, and now you're going into a year where, quite frankly, I think you have one of the top two, if not the undisputed number one quarterback in the conference coming back, as well as attacking the portal as hard as they ever have this year. This has to be the year where they make the playoff, and if it's not, there's going to be an opening in Baton Rouge.
And they're having a pretty good recruiting year too.
Yep, they are. They're bringing in some good talent.
Yeah, it should never be hard to recruit to LSU. You know, I think when you're in the mind of a 17 or 18-year-old kid saying, where's the cool school? Where's the development that comes? LSU's the top school for me. And it stems from me growing up having watched the swaggiest, coolest players in college football at the time play for LSU. It was Patrick Peterson. It was Tyrann Mathieu. It was Odell. I mean, you go on and on and on. That list is deep, not to mention – you hear the band play Neck, you say, okay, Death Valley is kind of the spot that I feel like might be the top in the country. So I know Texas fans might come at me for that take. That's just I've always admired them from afar.
And honestly, to your point, CJ, Louisiana is maybe one of the only states now where there is a kind of an unspoken loyalty to the in-state school still. Yeah. For the top prospects in that state, right? That's almost, they are almost ostracized when they do choose a school outside of LSU because there's no competition in Louisiana. It's just LSU. It ain't like Texas where there's Texas and Texas A&M, and then you got, hey, what about TCU over here? What about no. It's just LSU. You're born in Louisiana. That's your allegiance, and I think CJ's got a good point about that.
Okay, but not. The other side of that is been there, done that. What can he do there that he hasn't already done unless he won multiple championships? And I don't know that he has that much in his tank.
I agree. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing is where else could you go if LSU's a 9 out of 10 in terms of a competitor immediately in the college football playoff with a Nick Saban? Where could you go that would be open that would be a 10? Obviously, we don't know because of the coaching carousel, and that might be a year away, but that's a pretty top end of the line job.
It is.
Ohio State. Look, I would have said Ryan Day would have been on the hot seat at any point had he not gone on that run last year. And Ohio State might be one of the select few in the country that would have topped that job.
The reason LSU thing is intriguing is because what we know about LSU, and nothing against the coaches there, you ain't got to be elite to win a championship at LSU. No. I'm just saying,
I know
it's one of those places where it's been proven that you can get the right concoction of talent there and hit the lightning in a bottle at LSU. And it's been done 3 times in the last 5 years. Now Nick Saban is different, but Ed Orgeron, listen, I love Ed O, but come on, Ed O ain't no elite coach now.
No, but Ed O had a great offensive coordinator.
Agreed. So exactly. I was like, you get the right concoction of talent.
Yeah,
you can hit it there, right? And same thing with Les Miles. Nothing against Les Miles. We remember Les Miles when he went to Kansas. Okay, Les Miles is not an elite coach, but he's a good coach, and he had the right concoction of talent. And they are coaching and player. And Nick Saban is Nick Saban. Aside from him, but how many programs around the country have been proven to be able to win a national title without an elite coach, just the right concoction of talent? Multiple times. LSU is the spot, man. You can recreate magic at LSU probably easier than you can at any other major college football program in the country. It's been proven. If Nick Saban wants to be considered the GOAT, and unquestionably, undeniably, undisputed GOAT, you know what he needs to do? I'm not joking. And Longhorn fans, you ain't gonna like this. Go to A&M. Go to A&M and go win a championship with the most underrated, right? Or overrated program in the country because they get the talent, they got the resources. Nick Saban knows it. Nick Saban got offended when A&M recruited in 2022, the best recruiting class in the country. Even he felt insecure about it. You want to be the GOAT? Don't go to A&M and go win a title. Can you do that?
That's a good point.
Now,
That's a good point.
we have sat here and talked about Nick Saban possibly returning for about 10 minutes now. And in those 10 minutes, Rod, we've called for him to do two of the most impossible things in my lifetime: win a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys and win a national championship with Texas A&M. We're asking this man to set up a colony on Mars before he passes. I mean, this is some tough accomplishments here.
That's a great one. I didn't even think about it like that, but you're right. Yeah, seriously, what are we doing here? Splendid Daddy, we're assuming head coach. Is any other role a possibility? Thank you, Splendid Daddy. Coach, what about you? Would know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: would Donald Trump ever be a vice president for anybody? Come on.
And well said. Well said. He's right. There you go.
A head coach got to give up his parking spot at the facility for Nick Saban to come on his staff. I mean, that's something that you got to pull in and be like, I don't know if my office is still there. My name might be who it is. Like, it might still say head coach, but I know it ain't my shots I'm calling anymore.
Yeah, that's good. You're right about that. He's basically going to send out to 817 Mr. Talk Too Much. That's like signing up to.
Hey, I'm staying with Cowboys.
No,
that's the move.
That's great, Coach. I love what you said about Trump. It is not just President Trump, in case y'all don't like President Trump, but whatever.
No, it's his personality.
A president signing up to be a vice president. It don't happen.
No.
They don't do that. They don't do it. So, to Coach's point, you're a GOAT. You don't do that. So it ain't happening. He's not gonna be an analyst for Sark. I see the question here from someone said he's not gonna be an analyst for Sark. It ain't gonna happen. No. He's not gonna be a. Yeah, you go. So Saban's gonna make it be your. No, not happening. Coach is right. It's only gonna be a head coaching role, and he's only coaching a blue blood, the bluest of blue bloods. So we know it's only going to be like 7-8 schools, pretty much, that he would even narrow it down to that have the possibility of hiring a Sabin. So, but I think the NFL is, to me, I think the NFL, to close up the discussion, unless anybody else has anything about it, I think the NFL is a viable option because I think, Coach, he's at the end of his long storied career. He's looking back and he's saying, I managed to be the greatest college football coach of all time. It is hard not to say, man, could I just go to the NFL and redeem that legacy and go there and just put out just be a playoff team. Just be a playoff team for a couple of years to go, see, I told you Nick Saban to coach ball no matter what the level. All right. Because right now, Nick Saban he's got a chance to be considered the greatest, greatest football mind of all time. He's in that kind of conversation, but he's got to prove himself at the NFL level. Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, those kind of guys have been able to do. Jimmy Johnson. I think it might still be a possibility for Nick Saban to go to the league. I'm serious about that. If he's coming back. He may not come back though at all. All right. Thank you, Splendid Daddy, for the super chat. Let's thank our friends. Let's thank our friends over at Flat Creek Estate Winery before we move on. One of the first sponsors of our show here, The Winning Drive. Thank you very much to our friends at Flat Creek Estate Winery. FlatCreekEstate.com is where you need to go check out all of their premium wines. As a matter of fact, our friends over at Flat Creek Estate Winery, they recently entered their wine, the Super Texan, into the San Francisco Wine Festival. They were actually feeling very confident because the Super Texan had won so many awards at the state level and regionally. They decided to enter it into a national wine competition. Turns out the Super Texan showed up and showed out, as I said. 98 out of 100. It was named the top red blend in the country. So not only is the Super Texan the best red blend in the great state, but it's also the best red blend in the country. Super Texan also available at your local Specs. They have it at your local HEB as well. They also have a display at a local Central Market. I saw that here in town. But not only do they produce some of the best premium wines, including the award-winning Super Texan, but they also have some of they have a gorgeous venue. So they have wine tastings and barbecues every single weekend, perfect for a day date with your significant other or a weekend getaway with your significant other. That's Flat Creek Estate Winery, flatcreekestate.com, and you can go check them out today. And I encourage you, if you have some free time or you want to get away with our friends over at Flat Creek Estate Winery at flatcreekestate.com. All right, as we do every Monday, each and every Monday, we are pleased and honored to have our friend Stevie Lee, my former teammate, lifetime Longhorn, on with us, courtesy of our good friends over at Hardgrove Roofing. We appreciate them as well. Hardgroveroofing.com. Reach out today. They're offering a free roof inspection. So if you've had any damage to your roof as a result of the extreme weather in Central Texas lately, you can reach out to our friends at Hardgrove Roofing, 512-645-3202. Know who's on your roof with our friends at Hardgrove Roofing. Please leave it to the professionals at Hardgrove Roofing. Don't try to DIY that stuff yourself. Stevie, how was your weekend, brother? How's everything going?
Everything's going well, man. I'm a little late getting on because I was over at Hardgrove.
Hey,
filming another commercial, man. So
they put you up on a roof this time?
They didn't put me on a roof this time, man. But we got our new partner from the University of Texas. I don't know if it's announced, so I won't say his name. One of the NIL deals that we signed. So be on the lookout for that commercial coming out, man. He was there with us filming, so it's gonna be fun. And really, man, Hardgrove Roofing is a burnt orange friendly company, and really, if you guys have anything that need taken care of on your roof, let us know.
Let's see who's the latest guy we got from Louisiana. Let me see, who could that be?
See, it's not even.
No, it's not a Louisiana connection.
It's not a Louisiana connect, but he's a Longhorn.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this: he's a new Longhorn.
Oh,
an idea, but I'll save it, Stevie. I want to see this commercial.
Is he a transfer? Transfer?
Coach, yes, he's a transfer.
Shipley the kicker. Boom! No relation.
I was going to ask, is there a relation there?
No. But I grew up in Vernon. He grew up in Liberty Hill, 15, 20 miles away. But no, if it's related, if we're related, it's way down the line.
Yeah. I'm not confirming
but
or denying that you're correct.
It would just be good to hear if some Shipley got an NIL deal at some point.
Hey, but I like the fact that Hardgrove Roofing offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, by the way. But I like the fact that you guys support the specialists, if that is indeed.
I don't know if that's the case, but they put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Damn right.
The most pro Longhorn roofing company in Austin area.
Yeah. No, and they're fine people too. I've met the good folks at Hardgrove Roofing as well, and they're good folks. You would like to know that you can put your trust in them. I'll certify that as well. Stevie will as well. So they're good people. And it's perfect because I believe right around football season is when y'all do a new commercial, and that I don't know if that commercial is going to be on air this year, but I remember your other commercial was on air during football season. I remember the Stevie Lee commercial. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hardgrove Roofing. But let me ask you this. We were just talking about before you came on about there's a rumor, possibility Nick Sabin could be coming back to coaching. Greg McElroy put that out there. If Nick Sabin came back to coaching, where do you want to see him coach?
Golly, man. First of all, I don't want to see him coach. So let's put that out there, man. It's just like when Coach Brown went back to North Carolina. I loved it for him. I love that he did it. I loved it because he wanted to do it. But did I like to see him leave the University of Texas, go somewhere else? No. Coach Brown is Texas through and through to me, man. They should bury him right next to Bevo. You know what I'm saying? So I did not like him getting back in the saddle, but I did like it for him if he wanted it, So Nick Sabin, man, just ride off and collect those ESPN checks, man. Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. I'm with Coach. I think he just put it out there for feelers. I think his people told Greg McElroy to put that out there. And if somebody makes him a crazy offer, you know what? I'll take it.
Or his ESPN contract is up, and so he's thinking about it, and so ESPN got to drop another bag in his lap,
That's a good point.
That's why Stevie's a businessman.
Stevie, man, my man Stevie.
I've been working in business for over 20 years, man. I know how this shit works.
More than pretty smile.
You better have some leverage when you go in that room trying to ask for a raise. You better have some leverage.
No question.
Just almost jumped through this window saying, "Oh, hey, where's the bleep button?"
Hey, it's all right. It's SEC Media Day.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry for the kids in the room.
Nah, that's all right. I don't think we have a lot of kids listening. Oh, that's a good point. I don't think we have a lot of kids listening. I think you're okay. You're good with that. Let me ask you: are you planning on going to any away games? Do you go to any away games, or you go go mostly just home games?
I just mostly go to home games. I just started going back to the Texas OU games in Dallas. It's just so crowded up there, man. And then you get some drunk people, and it's not the drunk person that got punched. It's Stevie Lee that punched somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I know my environment. I know what to stay away from. But it was a lot of fun last year, man. I got tickets through a friend of the staff over there, so those were great tickets. And then we went up to the game that the last game we played Ohio State. So I do kind of like getting back into going to away games, but my fall is going to be busy with my daughter starting college volleyball up in Kansas City. So I might be in and out of up there, man. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's good.
Your two early thoughts on that game, Stevie, because that's been a point of conversation down below. Is hey, it's shaping up to be a significantly more competitive game than what we've seen over the last 3 years. Have you given a little bit of thought of what we might see on the field in Dallas this year?
Well, what I am hoping is that for the last, 200 days, those kids know what happened in the last game and what ended their season.
Right.
And during every single workout, you remember what happened. And we're looking for revenge, I know it's starting a new season and starting this and that, all new, but we lost to these guys the last time. We need to put a whooping on them again this year. So I am really looking forward to that game. I did look up the tickets and hotels to go up there, but But it's too early in the season, and me and my wife. Well, I said no. My wife was still on board. She might still even go. I don't know. I don't know what she got going on.
Her and the girlfriends, girls trip up there.
Yeah, it's a girls trip up to Ohio State. Who does that?
What people don't know about Stevie's lovely wife is that she's been a cheerleader in Texas, so she's just as much deep the orange in her blood as Stevie does. So
she has actually more. When we first got out of college, she's the one that made me go and get the season tickets. And now I've had season
association
tickets.
And all that.
Yeah, she was like, "You getting season tickets? We're doing this." And I was like, "I'd rather watch it on the couch." She was like, "No, we're in the stadium and we're doing that." And for 17 years, I've had my season tickets because of her.
Man, you got a real one, Stevie. Stevie's wife made him go get season tickets before a game. Most men have to make that case. Though your wife's like, "No, we're gonna budget this in our finances, and we're gonna spend this money." And
most of them are like, "Here, baby, here's a credit card. Go have a good day. I'm going to the game."
She is burnt orange through and through, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm going to present to my eventual wife what I do on Saturdays. So that's even.
Oh, you're good, CJ. As long as you keep doing this job, and you will, because you're damn good at it. You're one of the best at it that I've ever known. You can just explain here. This is tax write-off. I guess it's business.
Yeah. I was doing this. Hey, you can say, "Hey, I was doing this when we met." And it was okay.
So that's what I've learned recently. I found this little trick out from a buddy of mine who just got engaged. He said, "Look, you got to go into the relationship as the golf guy. You can't pick up golf in the relationship. Then they'll never buy it, right?" So you go into the relationship as the football guy. Well, then you're excused. You just pick back up on Sunday and say, "Hey, how'd yesterday go, babe?" That's it.
Hey, CJ, CJ, I got a quick question, man. You guys probably already talked about this. Can you tell me who did Texas bring up there for SEC day?
Yeah, so they'll be speaking tomorrow afternoon, right around this time, actually. Arch Manning's coming up, Anthony Hill, and Michael Taft will be representing the Longhorns. So you're getting all the representation from both sides of the ball, and obviously, Diego Pavia was the biggest media scrum lower down on the field today, and I bet Arch doubles it. I bet he just swallows up everybody in this lower bowl.
That's Crazy. Diego Pavia, did he say anything? Because he's been talking some trash in the offseason. He's a confident guy. I like Diego. He's got swagger.
He does have swagger. He came in with the corded headphones, which you rarely see nowadays. Had one looped over the ear. He's got that swagger to him. The one thing I liked about him is, look, 7-6 wasn't good enough. We're playing for a national championship. Clark Lee also said today that, hey, we believe that we could be playing deep into January. Now, again, this is Vanderbilt, but I think that you're starting to hear and see more of the change of, what the belief is behind the scenes. And, of course, you can't actually go out and accomplish this if you don't believe it in July, which you don't believe in July if you don't see the proof in the spring. So right now, Vanderbilt certainly believing that they are amongst the contenders in the SEC. And when your quarterback is Diego Pavia, I mean, at any point, anything can happen. Anything's possible with him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Stevie, I got a couple of questions before we let you go, because I know you actually got work to do. We keep you on here like you ain't got a job. The first question I have for you, because you were there like right after I left in 2002 and 2003, and the expectations started to rise for Texas football about how good the program was going to be, and ultimately 2004, 2005, Texas kind of hit the zenith and the apex. Do you think? I mean, the expectations right now, Texas football, are they as high as you can ever remember them? Right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But the only other caveat right now is we got a new quarterback, new full-time quarterback, right? Back then, we still had returning quarterbacks and returning running backs and things like that. So, we got to give Arch a little bit of grace, a little bit, I think. And so I do think that the expectations are very, very high. But people are kind of like with bated breath because we have a new full-time quarterback. That's some people. Me, I am 100% on board with this kid. I love what he's doing, but there's some people out there who's like, will he make the whole season? And who's the second guy? Who's the backup if he doesn't make the whole season? And are we riding our whole season off of just Arch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I'm with you. I agree. I mean, we still haven't seen him, obviously play an entire season, but the belief is that a Manning has never disappointed. And we haven't seen a Manning disappoint yet, whether it be Eli or Peyton or Archie himself. So the belief is that that's why Arch will show up. What's your record for the Longhorns this year? What do you got?
Oh, right on the spot.
I'm sorry, it's SEC Media Day. Media Days when we start asking these questions. You're asking like, hey, got him, you got him 10 wins, you got him 9 wins.
Listen, I am 100% honest with y'all, man. And as I go down the list, Ohio State is going to be tough, but we win, right? Playing OU in the Cotton Bowl is always tough, but we win. Going to Georgia, knowing what they lost, but we win. Mississippi State, we win. I don't see a L on our
Florida.
Even in Athens, Georgia, between the hedges.
I do not see an L on our record. Regular season. I don't. Listen, I think the hardest game right now people are looking at is the Ohio State and Georgia. I think that they're going to be hard fought games, but I don't see an L. I don't.
Okay, so that's 12. So you give us 12 minutes, but you still haven't answered the question.
Oh, that is true. That is true, Coach. He said
wait, Coach. Let's talk about the regular season right now. Can we just only talk about the regular season?
Okay, we'll give you that
question.
Did I hear A&M in that conversation as well?
Now A&M got to come to us, and we always get up for A&M. That is a tough game, but it's at our house, and the culture back then and now is protecting home. We almost protected it against Georgia last year. It was real close. I mean, it could have been closer, but anyway. Anyway, we're protecting home, and A&M got to come play us. So, again, during the regular season, Coach.
Regular season.
I don't see us
12-0
losing the game.
No, I want to ask you this, Stevie. Which team do you think we would have the best chance to see twice next season?
Georgia again. Georgia.
Not Ohio State. You think Georgia?
Good.
I think Georgia.
Coach.
I think Georgia. Ohio State could, but Georgia. Now, in the same breath, A&M probably can get some momentum going. And then CJ was talking about Vandy. I was high on Vandy last year. And if they feel confident right now and they get some kind of momentum going in that train, that could happen as well, you know. But if I had to put money on it, which I'm not, it would be Georgia again.
I would say this, Stevie. I like your prediction, by the way. Texas is only an underdog in 2 games. At Ohio State, at Georgia. So even Vegas expects Texas to win every game except for 2. And by the way, I think they're gonna beat Ohio State too. Like I'm on board, and I think they're gonna beat Ohio. The way Sark shows up in those big early non-conference games, they gonna beat Ohio State because those teams are ready to play. That Georgia game at Georgia is the one I'm a little worried about because Kirby seems he seems to know Sark a little bit. That little chess match, he seems to be, the chess master in that matchup.
Yeah, but I think Sark is going to have his guns loaded. He's going to have some stuff in his hip pocket.
He is. I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. That's why Stevie's prediction is not crazy, guys. It's not at all.
Yeah.
I got him 11-1. That's with me being shaky right now on that game at Georgia. Now I'll admit this: Sark knows you can't lose to Kirby 3 times in a row and try to.
You guys from Georgia.
In Georgia. So I think Sark will be ready for. I got him 11-1. So Stevie, you ain't crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Stevie, let me get your thoughts on this thing because we've talked about it on previous shows. You play Ohio State right away. You want to avenge the loss that ended your season a year ago, but you also got to prepare for what your playbook might look like as the season progresses. At what percentage do you think that playbook is open to begin the year in which it's a meaningless game in the theory of the SEC and getting to a SEC championship game and perhaps another college football playoff? Are you working at full capacity of the playbook to start the year immediately?
Golly, the pride and winning tradition of the Texas Longhorns would not be entrusted to the weak nor the timid. So you open that thing up.
Yep.
You open it all the way up and you throw everything at them. And you put everybody on notice that, damn, they got a big ass playbook over there, and you gotta defend that. So I say you open it all up, but I sell real estate. I don't coach football, so in Sark I do trust. So whatever he does is going to be the right thing. But open that thing up though.
Coach, I'll spin it to you from here because does that going into a Georgia and Oklahoma and A&M later on, does that just eventually become what are the other wrinkles that play into the strength of your team rather than what Sarkisian relies upon on his offensive principles?
You can beat Ohio State with some gadget plays, with some stuff that they haven't seen, that they don't know. And you won't maybe pull those back out until later. But I also want to say this, Stevie, to reinforce your view on the Georgia game. Texas has Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, and then Georgia. So it sets up pretty good for them.
Yeah. Vanderbilt is not an easy out, though.
No, you're right. You're right.
But they'll beat Vanderbilt no matter if they have a bad game. They should beat Vanderbilt. But I'm with you. I think the schedule honestly sets up really well for them to be ready for those big time, Titanic matchups against the marquee opponents on the schedule. All right, Stevie, thank you so much. Sorry for keeping you so long, man. You always have a very compelling conversation.
Hey, can't wait to see who that NIL boy is.
I think we know. I think we know who he is. But
going back to the question of which game that I would love to go to, away game.
Yeah,
I just thought about it, man. I was recruited real hard by Georgia, and if I wasn't married, there's some nice Georgia peaches up there in Athens, guys. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that.
Amen to that. Mm-hmm. No. My brother used to live in Stone Mountain, Georgia. I can concur.
No question.
Yeah, no doubt. Atlanta, Georgia is very underrated for just Southern hotties. Yes.
Beyonce is playing her fourth concert in 5 days right down the road.
Yeah.
Come on.
CJ's gonna be out there parking lot pimping pretty soon. All right, thank you, Stevie. We appreciate the time, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks, Stevie.
That's going to be so funny if it's Shipley, the NIL dude.
I think you're right, Coach. I think it was. He didn't say it. I think it is. I think you hit the nail on the head, Coach. I think it's him. I mean, it could be the punter, I guess, but
did he say it was special teams?
I think he hinted that it was a specialty play.
Yeah. Well, it was it's just a total lucky guess if that's true. I was just making the joke that maybe someday a Shipley will get some NIL.
Well, they had Bert Auburn last year. Remember, there was Bert Auburn last year.
Oh, that's right.
They don't mind kickers because I think they know the value of a kicker.
Either that or they've already been burned by a kicker once. I ain't gonna do that again.
A coach.
Okay.
I mean, slow learners. I don't know.
That's true. Okay, Coach might be right about that. I ain't gonna lie. That's true. He said he would not.
I'm just totally guessing, but it'll be fun to see who it is. Stevie's going to keep us in suspense.
That's great. I never thought about that, Coach. Be like, they got burned. I'm like, actually, maybe they might stay away from the kickers from now on. I'm not sure. But let me go back to what Stevie said, though, about them being undefeated. I got it, honestly, 11-1. And the only reason I say 11-1 is because even Sark himself, remember Sark said it's going to be really hard for anybody to go undefeated, in modern football. And I do think he's right about that. It's just really tough, especially in the SEC. But that game at Georgia is the one that worries me. I'm feeling probably too confident in Texas beating Ohio State. I'll admit that. I'm probably a little overconfident right now. I probably should not be that confident. Ohio State's going to bring some dogs. And Ohio State's been recruiting like gangbusters. They're going to have a squad ready to go. I have a lot of faith in the way Sark prepares his team for that big non-conference game every year. And we've seen him, right? At Bama, Michigan. I just think he'll be ready for that one. When you get into the season and the week-to-week drain and the week-to-week, it just wears you out, right? That week-to-week routine and only having, like Coach, like 6-7 days to prepare for a game. And Texas will have extra time depending on if they have a bye week before. But I think for that Georgia game, man, I do think that's just going to be tough. Doesn't Georgia have a home game winning streak right now? Some crazy home game winning streak?
Yeah.
Texas has broke before. They broke Alabama's home game winning streak and Michigan's, by the way. But, man, predicting the teams are going undefeated is borderline arrogant, and I don't want to be arrogant.
I'll tell you one team that we haven't talked a lot about on today's program that worries me, got a new quarterback named John Mateer. And that worries me because they're going to throw everything they have, just like we're going to do when we go to Ohio State. They have to win that game. It might be the difference in him having his contract.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Coach.
And so you got a dual threat type quarterback that is very electric. He's a great competitor. He's playing near his hometown. They're going to hold some things in their hip pocket for that game, and they're going to pull them out in that game. And we cannot go in there overlooking OU, or it might be a long day. Because you know how it is, Rod. You've been there. I've seen it many, many times. It can get out of hand in a hurry.
Yep, it can.
No momentum is just it's unbelievable.
Yeah, best way to keep your job if you're a struggling coach on the hot seat is to beat your rival, especially when you're not expected to. I forget which coach it was. I guess it was Texas Tech, right? It was just the commissioner of the conference going out saying, make sure you take care of business against Texas. That's kind of one of those big marquee victories that can, maybe the season didn't go as well as it was expected to. Maybe we're not exactly where we want to be as a program, but you beat Texas in the year in which you weren't supposed to. All can be forgotten for this year. And the other thing, Rod, and talk about being overly confident, because I think that's how I would describe myself for that Ohio State game to start the year. I do think Texas is going to win that game. And Where I see the biggest difference is when comparing the two, there's a lot of similarities, right? Brand new offensive line essentially for both teams. Brand new quarterback, first-time starter for both teams. You lost double-digit draft picks for both teams. You got a lot of new faces coming in. You've done well in the portal, but the big contrast between the two teams is you got a brand new offensive coordinator and you got a brand new defensive coordinator in Columbus, Ohio. You don't have that issue in Austin, Texas. And we've talked about continuity and how Texas has been able to get out of the gate early in a lot of these games, especially early in the season at Alabama, at Michigan. I can only imagine that's a big result of having that continuity from month to month, from year to year with Pete Kwiatkowski and Kyle Flood in that office.
Yeah.
But having said that, CJ, I want to add this. Excuse me, Rod. I just want to add this. That makes it a lot more difficult for the University of Texas because they have a beat on us. They've got years of film on us. And all we can do is go back and see where these coordinators came from and hope that we're going to see the same thing. And it may take a little while to catch up to them in that game, make a lot of on the field or on the sideline adjustments or halftime adjustments or whatever. Because, it's kind of, you think you know what you might see, but you don't know for sure until you get there.
Which would you rather be, Coach? Would you rather have the continuity or the unknown factor?
No doubt. Continuity. I would say don't overlook the unknown factor.
Sure. Yeah.
It puts you at a slight disadvantage.
I agree with that. First of all, I agree with you that you want the continuity, but if you are Ohio State, you will have almost a slight temporary advantage, in my opinion.
Right.
It won't last long. It won't last long until they figure out, this is how they're trying to attack me. This is what they're trying to accomplish. So if I'm Ohio State, I use that uncertainty, like you talking about, Coach, probably for what, maybe 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes of the first quarter. I use it and I go ham. I throw all kind of crazy stuff at them so that Texas will have a hard time trying to pin down what my tendencies are.
Yeah, you want them to go, oh man, this is not at all what we prepared.
Yeah, exactly. I want somebody in that up in that booth to go, oh-ish. This is not what I expect. If I get an oh-ish out of anybody on that sideline or in that booth, then I'm mission accomplished. So I agree with Coach. I think that advantage will last, like I said, maybe half of the first quarter, maybe 10 minutes of the first quarter, and then they get back on it. And that's what I think the continuity advantage for Sark. That's when it takes over. But Ohio State, when you have no idea what Matt Patricia and Brian Hartline are going to do, there's not even a sample size really of them at that level coaching. I mean, you got Matt Patricia, you can study from the Lions and the Patriots and his time with the Eagles, but that's a lot of guesswork. You're chasing a lot of ghosts. You have no idea what he's going to do with the group he's got now. Same thing with Brian Hartline. And most of Brian Hartline, I think, will be easier because he's running Ryan Day's offense.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a cover version of what Ryan Day believes. So I think PK might have an easier job actually than Sark does in that first matchup with Ohio State. But we said the same thing about Wink Martindale, and Sark lit Wink Martindale up.
He sure did.
he put it on Wink, and Wink was an NFL defensive coordinator. Right? A lot of respect. Everybody knows Wink Martindale and knows what he does well. And Sark was ready for it. And I'm hoping that'll be the case with Matt Patricia, too.
It's interesting. I mean, obviously, talk about Wink Martindale at Michigan as well. But the year before at Alabama, brand new coordinators in that regard as well. And we saw how the in-game development, especially in that third quarter when Texas's offense really started to flow, that's those in-game adjustments that, quite frankly, I don't think we saw enough of last year, especially in those third quarters where – boy, it just made you want to turn the TV off, right? Just go to bed, wake up when the game's over. But it's interesting because I do think, Coach, you have to do something in this game if you're a new first-time play caller out of school. I'm just envisioning 2 wing T snaps right off the gun from Brian Hartline just to get that reaction, Rod, that you said, where it's just like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
We didn't have this in the playbook.
Exactly. I agree. I was saying you want that oh-ish moment because, Coach, have you had that moment on the sideline before?
Just pure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. but here, I mean, if your players aren't mature, then what happens is those guys see that first series or two, and they go, "Oh crap! None of our keys are this formation key, and and motion key and all that stuff. None of it holds. So they just kind of in their mind they just go wham, and there goes all the stuff we planned on. As opposed to them, okay, yep, here it is. Yep, this is what we thought. Okay, yeah, we're good, and then pull something out later. Then that's just for show. But that first part, if you can get them distracted and get them on their heels a little bit, then if they panic and they forget about the game plan, they forget about what they prepared for, it could be an advantage.
Yep.
For Ohio State.
That's a good point. I remember that I've been on some sidelines where that game plan is thrown out. That game plan after that first series is like, oh yeah, that week's worth of game planning. Sorry guys, we screwed up. All right, let's go back to the drawing board mid-game and figure it out. And that's what you have to do sometimes. I mean, that's football in a nutshell. And you may have that moment. Remember Texas, Clemson was like, Clemson scored in their first drive, came out and I believe it was like the first or the second drive, Clemson scores really early. And that didn't happen in Texas a lot.
First drive.
It was the first drive, yeah. And you got to go back to the drum. All right, guys, we got to adjust some things. That's when your leadership steps up really big. Guys like Anthony Hill. Right, guys like Michael Taft, like, all right, guys, it's all right. Listen, this is where we screwed up. Bam, 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 bam. Let's get it corrected. No panic at all. And I think Texas definitely has that kind of leadership and continuity. To CJ's point, let's. Sorry, CJ, go ahead. Finish it.
No, I was just saying the teeter-totter of that is how do you adjust after the first drive when the script is no longer in play versus how do you adjust in the third, fourth quarter when you got to make those big-time plays. Clemson did a much better job offensively as that game progressed, whereas Texas, I think, had the right game plan coming in after that first drive, made the corrections. I think it was only, 7-10 points at halftime.
Yep.
Obviously, the second half of that game got out of hand. But go on, Rod. It's interesting how the game within the game goes between coaches.
No, and you're right. That's why for Sark, we're not sure, right, about Sark, because Ohio State, they were great coming out of the half. Remember that last Ohio State game? That's when they were at their best. But the Arizona State game was great opening script and then struggled for the rest of the game to adjust. And then when the fit hits the shan, 4th and 13, miracle. So we still don't know if Sark has mastered the halftime. I guess actually still one of the things he's still working on and growing as a coach. His game planning and preparation, though, is one of the best in the country. It's one of the best. I know. I mean, just if you can you got to get past Sark's opening 20-something plays. I think they say he scripts 40 plays. It's insane. But you get past the opening script, and that's when you can start actually boxing with Texas. You can actually start throwing some jabs. If you don't survive the opening script against Texas, oh man, it's really hard to be in a game against Sark in Texas because he just bombards you with so much cheat codes and force multipliers and things of that nature. All right, we got some questions here. We'll hit those. Let's thank our friends over at Vonlane before we answer some of those questions. If you've got to travel to one city or another in the great state of Texas, it can be a bit of a toss-up. Do you deal with the airport chaos and hope your flight isn't delayed? Or do you brace yourself for hours behind the wheel, battling traffic and burning an entire day of productivity? Well, there's a third option, and it's better in each and every way. It's Vonlane. You arrive at a luxury hotel terminal, no TSA lines, no long-term parking lots, just a seamless boarding experience that takes minutes, not hours. You settle into a plush leather seat, a hot towel, pillow, and blanket are at arm's reach. Your attendant offers complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, a full meal if you'd like. And if you need to relax, you can lean back and enjoy the ride. But if you want to stay productive, there's high-speed Wi-Fi and power at every seat. So while you're unplugging or powering through, the Vonlane team will be monitoring traffic in real time, using smarter routes and efficient detours to keep your trip smooth and on schedule. And now is the perfect time to plan your fall travel. Booking is open through September. So whether you're headed to a college football game, like a lot of you will be, or a weekend getaway, or a business trip that needs to be done right, Vonlane makes the journey part of the reward. Vonlane serves Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and in the Southeast, Atlanta, Nashville, and Memphis. Please visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com and use the code OTF25 and you'll save $20 on your first ride with Vonlane. That's Vonlane Elevated Regional Bus Transportation. Thank you very much to our friends at Vonlane for sponsoring the winning drive. All right, let's get to a couple of questions here, then we'll get to a few more topics. Marco says, I know Rod doesn't like to be called a Longhorn legend, but how about a third and Longhorn legend? There you go. Well, honestly, I can't be that either because Derek Johnson's in that crew. All right, that's third and Longhorn legend. And honestly, Okafor is not appreciated enough for being a great pass rusher at Texas. So I'll take it, Marco, but I'm borderline on that one too. I'll take being a Lamar High School legend. Damn right about that one.
I'll give you third and Longhorn legend, Rod. You deserve that one as well as your Texas recognition as well.
I appreciate that, but I don't want to disrespect the real legends. There's some real ones out there, and I ain't one of them. But thank you for the compliment, Marco. CB says, are Sark and Arch a package deal? Ooh. We were talking earlier, Coach, about, Sark's. I think he does have aspirations to go to the league, but not until he finishes the mission at Texas. I've said that several times. Let's assume he finishes the mission at Texas and after the 26th season, let's say national title or 2-1, would he leave with Arch to be a package deal in the league?
First of all, we all assume we know what Arch is going to be. And there's a very, very good chance he's going to be what we think he's going to be. But what if he's not? What if there's a chink in his armor? You can't say that. I don't think so. But as you guys have pointed out numerous times, the 26 season that's our 05 season.
Yep.
That's the one that y'all have brought that up many times, and I couldn't agree more. So now, after that year, it's a possibility, but it's not going to be a possibility after next year. I just cannot see Sark leaving with the cupboard as full. Maybe the most talented roster in the history of the program, if recruiting continues to go as it's going. But even with what we have, it's going to be that's the year. That's the one where I would have no problem saying, we're going to win 15, 16 games.
What's tough about this conversation and whether or not he does return to the NFL is, look, I just saw the Rivals updated release rankings, and well, guess who's the number one quarterback in that class?
Yeah.
So you could have a plug and play ready to go with the number one quarterback in the country, 1 year removed from the number one recruiting class in the country. And I know that you get more off time in the NFL. I know that the schedule is not as rigorous when it comes to recruiting. Obviously, the world of NIL and all the handshakes that you got to do to make sure that the funding in your program is at the level that it needs to be. But you're walking away from what could be 3, 4, 5 years of the best roster in college football with the best quarterback in their 2026 recruiting class as well. That's not an easy thing to do, even if you get to the mountaintop twice, maybe. I don't know. Point being, there's a lot of time to go before I think we're even at this conversation. One thing I do know for certainty is until Arch Manning's off this campus in Austin, Texas, there's no reason to even entertain Sarkisian departing from school.
Yep. I love what Duke says here. If Sark leaves, so will Dia Bell. Great point. You just
Probably so.
CJ. And Burnt Orange Horn saying Sark not quitting Texas for at least 5 more years, probably 10. He wants to coach Dia Bell. Could be true. Like I said, I do think this is a first world problem. If Sark wins multiple national titles at Texas, the NFL will pique his interest. That's what I've always said, and I think it's true because I think he'll believe at that point, what else is there to accomplish here? I've won multiple national titles. I want to go be like Pete Carroll, one of my mentors, and Nick Sabin, who tried it, who I think still wants to redeem his image at the NFL level. I still think Nick Sabin I still think that's in him somewhere. And then we just saw Pete Carroll get a job, so don't say he's too old. Pete Carroll old. How old is Pete Carroll? Like 70?
75?
Yeah, he's like 75, something like that, right?
He's older than the Sabin, isn't he?
I believe. Yeah. Even Pete Carroll and Mac Brown the same age?
Oh, I don't know.
I want to say Pete Carroll and Mac Brown the same age.
I thought the whole conversation there, he was 2 years older than Sabin. Sabin 73. So if my math is there, that's 75.
73. Pete Carroll, 73.
Oh, so he's the same age.
And Mac Brown is 73. So it's like they look different.
Wow.
But they are the same age.
And Nick Saban is 72?
I believe so. Nick Saban ain't that much younger than Mac. It just he's younger, but he's not that much younger. Yeah, he's 70. No, Nick Saban is 73, guys. They all are 73. Nick, Pete Carroll, and Mac Brown are all the same age. So if
they're just battling amongst each other to see who can coach to 80. That's it.
Hey, they all battling Father Time. They all got the same battle going on.
Hey, you put those three in a ring. One winner comes out. Who's it going to be?
I was like Pete Carroll. Sorry, Pete Carroll is so energetic, man. He's still so.
I know,
right? I mean, and Nick Saban is small. You've seen him, Coach. He's small.
Yeah.
Max a bigger dude. Max kind of tall. Pete Carroll, I think, still got he's vibrant and upbeat, but Nick Saban is a smaller dude. Just telling y'all, like he's a tinier dude. I don't know what Nick Saban's height is, but he's small. He's definitely his shortest of those people, of those guys we talked about. But anyway, they're all the same age. I think Nick Saban, if he comes back, I'm picking the NFL. All right, thank you, CB, for that question. How about this one from Jack? Says, CJ, if you were at the last media days, how does it compare to last year? I'm hearing Dallas was better set up and less confusion.
Yeah, I like it out here. You know, Dallas last year was really just a long road that fed right on into the big ballroom where the coaches and the players had their breakouts. There's no real confusion there. Here, obviously, I don't know if you can get lost out here, but I've liked it. You know, given that we're in the College Football Hall of Fame, there's a lot of things to go look and read upon. I mean, I've been here for the Peach Bowl availability as well, but never really spent a lot of time just exploring. And I did try to do that a little bit this afternoon. It's a cool deal. I think being in Atlanta gives you more of that SEC feel, right? This year we had some fans from name a college football team just kind of waiting in the lobby as players and teams arrived for their media availability. You didn't have that in Dallas. And being a little bit more centric, I think, gives you more of that true SEC feel. And that's something that we certainly did not get in Dallas. But confusion alone, it's been a fun first day for sure.
All right. Let me ask you, CJ. Obviously, you haven't had to get just experience the entire SEC media days just yet. Is there a quote or a statement that was made by, I don't know who's it, Brian Kelly was up there today, and the LSU players, you got Lane Kiffin and all of this. Is there something that stood out to you that was said, spoken at SEC Media Days on the podium by a player or a coach that you thought was pretty interesting?
The one thing, it still comes from Clark Lee saying, you know, that's a team that expects to be playing in January, and that might be coach speak, but look, I think, again, you kind of adopt the personality of your head coach and your quarterback to the extent of Diego Pavia basically saying, I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in a cage. You know, put lions, tigers, and bears, it doesn't matter. I'm going to beat the hell out of them. And I think Vanderbilt's kind of adopted that for Vanderbilt and what it's been over the last decade plus. I mean, it hasn't been a very competitive team in the conference, but I think that they believe that now. And we'll see, obviously. I think they've done a fine job of acquiring talent out of the high school ranks. They've been recruiting at the best that they've ever recruited, as well as finding portal talent, but we'll see. Other than that, I don't know. I'm still waiting for that Brian Kelly accent to show back up from whenever he was first hired. We didn't get to hear it today, unfortunately.
I love it. All right, let's thank our final sponsor of today's program, our friends over at Southpoint Dodge. You can score an easy extra point this season when you get to the point with our friends over at Southpoint Dodge. Southpoint Dodge right now, folks, they have over 600 vehicles in stock. All right, that's a lot of vehicles. So they definitely have something that will, something that should pique your interest no matter what it is. But our friends also have that brand new, all new 2025 Ram 1500. You'll get the real deal today. You can drive away in the all new Ram 1500, proven to last. Plus, right now with Southpoint Dodge, you get employee incentive pricing. That's their fancy way of saying that you pay what the employees pay right now at Southpoint Dodge. That's southpointdodge.com. So go see them in person off of I-35, or you can go online at southpointdodge.com and check out their inventory there as well. Whether you need a car, a truck, something new, something used, trade-in, whatever your automotive needs, consider Southpoint Dodge, Austin's automotive everything. So go check them out today. Don't forget about the employee incentive pricing. Ask them about it as soon as you walk through the door, and they'll tell you about their employee incentive pricing. So their fancy way of saying you get the employee discounts with our friends over at Southpoint Dodge. So score big today at Southpoint Dodge with the real deal at southpointdodge.com. All right. Before we end things, let me ask you this. I guess I asked Stevie, so I got to put everybody on the spot. I don't know if I asked everybody officially. You got a regular season. Won't even ask you the postseason. Give me a regular season prediction. I tell him I was 11-1. I already said.
I like 11-1.
I got him losing at Georgia, but that's.
I might flip where the losses are, though. I think Texas beats Ohio State. I mentioned that. I think Texas gets it done in between the hedges. I do. I don't think I'm there yet to buy into Gunnar Stockton. Maybe I'm way off there. But if Georgia struggled last year, obviously with not a great wide receiving core, but Carson Beck, look, I think you take a step back in quarterback, but a step up in wide receivers. What's the benefit there if you can't get the ball to more talented wide receivers? That's where my question is with them. But I still look at Florida. And if Lagway is healthy, and that's, again, the big asterisk there, that's a game I'm looking at saying, does Texas get up for it with a team with a quarterback that we've seen take over football games or at least have some of that in him already? That's where I say, okay, maybe that's the team that's comes to play the best against Texas.
Ooh, okay. I can say I like that one, Jay. That's out of nowhere, CJ. Coach, you got a regular season record for Texas?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia. A&M's always going to be a threat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling 12-0.
Oh, you were Steven Bowles.
Well played that one.
I like it. No, I'm 11-1, so 12-0 is not that crazy. I mean, literally talking about a field goal or,
Well, I wasn't going to say. I was either going to say 10-2 or 12-0. I wasn't going to be a third wheel and say 11-1. I was going 10-2 or 12-0, and I think there's a better chance to be 12-0.
I agree.
I mean, if we stay healthy, of course.
Yeah. That's a good question in itself, Coach. Would Texas have a better chance at being undefeated or 10-2? And honestly, I would take undefeated. If you're telling me they have a better odds of being undefeated or 10-2, I think they have better odds of being undefeated than 10-2.
Which again is pretty crazy because you're playing at Ohio State, playing at Georgia, playing at Florida, Dallas, a neutral game against Oklahoma. You don't play a lot of great games at home this year, in which that's typically your benefit. One of those big things that pulls in your favor in college football. Texas, that's working against Texas this whole year.
Yep.
Yeah, but Texas has played pretty good on the road.
They have.
They're not great on neutral site, neutral locations. They're great in actual road games. It's a weird. I don't know what it is. It's very strange. They're not elite that category, but they're elite when it comes to true road games. Last thing I'll say is a lot of this depends on how those opposing quarterbacks develop, because they actually have a really tough slate of quarterbacks. If all of them get better. If all of them if Mateer takes a step, if Lagway takes a step, if Marcel Reed takes a step, Taylon Green takes a step, Diego Pavia, they actually play some really good quarterbacks. If all those guys get better, that's going to be a tough schedule. That's a tough ask. It's a tough out.
CJ, I got one question for you. Any commits announcement scheduled this week?
That's a great question, Coach. July 20th, big decision coming there. That's Derek Cooper, the number one running back in the country. Texas, of course, didn't receive an official visit in the month of June, but they've certainly stuck around here. And if you've been following on Texas football, should be no surprise to hear where Texas is in that recruitment at the moment. Jerry Hamilton posted some great notes earlier today as well. But Texas right there with Miami in this one. That decision will be coming at the end of the week.
Yeah, that's sexy. Speaking of great nuggets over there at ontexasfootball.com, that's where you need to be. The stuff that we talk about here on the YouTube platform, it's free, but it's only a fraction, a minuscule amount of the actual knowledge and insider nuggets that are being talked about and being brought to ontexasfootball.com by CJ Vogel, Jerry Hamilton, my man Jeff Howe, Bobby Bird, Blake Monroe. So right now you can become an OTFOG by simply using that code OTFOG, and you can get a year subscription to ontexasfootball.com for just $39.95. Guys, that's the best deal right now going. If you're a ball on the budget, you'll appreciate that, and it'll pay huge dividends for you during the football season when you got all those insider nuggets for pennies on the dollar. All right, so go check it out at ontexasfootball.com. Excuse me. Thank you very much to Matthew behind the scenes. As always, he's the real MVP. Thank you very much, CJ. Appreciate you taking the time there at SEC Media Days. Can't wait to get some more of those nuggets from you about what's going on. Coach, thank you for the wisdom and the levity. Appreciate that all the time. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to friends at Hardgrove Roofing, hardgroveroofing.com, and my man Stevie Lee, my friend and former teammate, lifetime Longhorn. Thank you as well to Flat Creek Estate Winery, flatcreekestate.com. Thank you as well to Southpoint Dodge, southpointdodge.com, and Vonlane, vonlane.com. Use the code OTF25. You'll get $20 off your first ride with Vonlane. So if we missed any of your questions, I apologize about that. Direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning, covering SEC Media Days, 8:15 with Jerry Hamilton and Bobby Burton. And I'll be on that Tuesday live stream with myself. I believe E. Hogan's going to be back and Jeff Howe as well on Tuesday. Go get some of them Georgia features, CJ. Yeah, CJ, go out there and get some of them Georgia.
Marco.
No, they're talking about the Justin Bieber song. I got my peaches out in Georgia. That's it.
Get to Magic City. Do all that, CJ. We want to hear some stories tomorrow. All right. Thank you for CJ and for Coach and for Matthew. I'm Lifetime Local at Rod Berry. So until next time, hook 'em on.